Terence Crawford against Hank Hammer Time Lundy this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend of boxing. We've got Frampton versus Quigg. Don't get me started. I can't wait for that one. And then I watch that, have a little nap, wake up and watch the Crawford fight. Now, the thing is, the build up to this Crawford fight has been really interesting because Lundy has been really trying to wind him up, and the Twitter wars, the social media wars, and it's made for a very exciting fight. Now, I watched one of the recent press conferences where Hank Lundy stood right up in front of him, and Terence Crawford just pushed him, and he flew. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, if psychologically, if I was squaring up to somebody and they pushed me like that and I flew back, and that much, I'd think, you never know, he could have even been intimidated by that, because maybe Hank Lundy in his mind probably thought, I'm going to square up to him, he's not going to push me, he's not going to do nothing to me. And when Crawford pushed him, he probably thought, wow, this guy's serious. But at the end of the day, I mean, we haven't really seen Terence Crawford really be, he's usually quiet, isn't he? But this one, he seems to have really got under his skin for this one, and there's a lot of trash talking going on. But if you want me to be honest, if you're going to get under somebody's skin, right, at least have the same kind of skill set as them, right? If I'm going to fight someone, I want to make sure, if I'm going to try and get under their skin, I'm going to try and have the same, I need to be the same, have the same skill set, have the same strength, power, speed, agility. I need to match them in every area. But by Lundy winding up Crawford, it doesn't really help him, because what that actually does is it's just going to make him beat up on him more. Because it's not as if Crawford isn't better than him in every area. He's better than him in every area, whether it be boxing, whether it be brawling. So if he comes to brawl, he's going to beat you. If he comes to box, he's going to beat you. It doesn't make sense trying to get under his skin. That's my opinion anyway. He thinks Crawford's going to make a mistake. I don't think Lundy's good enough to capitalize on any of the mistakes that he makes. A puncher's chance maybe, but I think Crawford's going to win this anyway. So it makes for an exciting build-up and an exciting fight. So I, for one, am looking forward to it. Now, I think Hank Lundy he's not a bum. I wouldn't call this man a bum. He's got a decent record. He's fought some good world-class fighters. He's fallen short when he's fought these guys, but at the end of the day, I've got to give him maximum respect for stepping up to the plate. The man will fight anyone. He's took the fight at reasonably short notice, so you've got to give him respect for that. But I think Terence Crawford easily wins this fight. So I mean, the question that I want to know is, where do they go? Where does Terence Crawford go from here? Because he's a really, really gifted fighter, and I think he needs to be matched against somebody who is on his level. Because at the moment he's just been matched with opponents that are not great, and if you want to boost his profile, then you really need to get him fighting people that are going to give him a good test, or some named fighters, because all these guys that he's been fighting, they haven't really been great tests for him. They've been relatively easy for him, so I think they need to step it up a little bit, and he needs to fight starting the best in the division. Victor Postol, I'd like to see him fight against Terence Crawford, one of those guys, somebody that's going to really push him and test him to the limit and expand his fan base. But I think Bob Arum has been just matching him up with people that are not as gifted, not as talented. And I heard some rumors about him trying to match him up with Marquez. I mean, matching him up with Marquez, I mean, to me that doesn't make sense. Marquez is an old, aging fighter, and if he fights Marquez, it's not going to be good for Marquez, because Crawford doesn't have that much of a strong fan base. So he's not going to want to really look to fight Lundy. He's going to want to fight somebody who's a name. And for Crawford, it works out perfectly. But for Marquez, he'll probably get the bum deal. But that fight shouldn't happen anyway. Now, there were rumors of Manny Pacquiao fighting Terence Crawford, and I don't think that obviously didn't happen. But I think maybe because they didn't want him to fight Crawford because he just come off a loss to Floyd Mayweather, and he's got a dodgy shoulder. So maybe he thought, well, let's just match him against Timothy Bradley, and then if he fights Timothy Bradley and beats him, which he's gonna beat him because they've fought twice and he's beat him twice. And when he beats him again, maybe you put him in with a Terence Crawford, and it'll be quite good, because what it does is it passes the torch. You need another top-ranked fighter who's going to kind of, take take the torch from Manny Pacquiao and move on and move up. And Terence Crawford could possibly be the one to do that. So it'll be interesting to see Terence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao, maybe. But you know, they're both in the same stable, promotional stable, so it's very possible that that could happen. But I mean, the Terence Crawford, Hammer Time, Hank Lundy fight, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. I think Terence Crawford is going to really annihilate this guy, beat this guy. And Lundy's been talking about, you know, oh, it doesn't matter. I've had a tough upbringing, and you know, I'm from Philly, and I'm a street fighter. And fighting nothing to me. I fight anywhere, any place, anytime, and this is what's going to get me through my struggle, what I've been through, and you know, all that's good. I've got to respect any fighter, any boxer that, you know, steps up to the plate and fights and trains and dedicates their life, takes their time away from their kids, their family, to commit to the sport. You know, I'd never call a boxer a bum or anything like that, or disrespect them. But if you want me to be honest, it doesn't matter what you feel inside. Like, I could, you know, want to race Usain Bolt and train as fast, as hard as I can, and just lock myself away. But if I don't have the skill set, if I don't have the ability, I could be tenacious, I could be aggressive, I could have the desire, I could train hard. But somebody who doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the natural gift, the talent, I'm not going to beat him regardless. So it's your skill set that makes you win fights. It's your power. It's not your desire. You know, desire doesn't mean anything. Deserving sometimes doesn't mean anything. So, you know, although I think Hank Lundy's talked his way, he's talked a good fight, and he's clearly got under Terence Crawford's skin. At the end of the day, what needs to happen now? He needs to fight, and the fight is going to be good. The build-up's been good, and he needs to just fight, beat him, and move on to somebody a lot more notable. But you know, I'm really looking forward to it. Let me know your comments, and please subscribe.